Hey, so I have animation here from one of our patrons, Rolly, who did the fantastic looking Woody and Buzz rigs that you should check out if you haven't checked out yet. So he did a little animation on the bat to test for me, and I was going to do a little demo on filters as well as CDM sim chain. So if this gets too long, I'll break it into two parts, but let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is use the filter tool to add some drag to the head. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new layer from this. So I just have the head. I'm just going to call this head. And then I'm going to go to anim. Where are my filters? Filter tool. Cool. And so I'm going to use dragger. So I need to find the size. So how we can do that is in here. I can, let's see, query, size each. So this can same with the size of this control, which is about the size of the head. So this is what I want. So it's about, I'm going to say 15. So why this is important, so what happens on this call is it uses this scale to send out a locator to do the drag functionality. So if it's too short, it's going to look weird. If it's too long, it's not going to do much. It's going to look weird too. So you're going to have it pretty close to the head. So make that 15. We're just going to try it on this layer and see what we get at just the defaults. So I'm going to say bake. So the first pass it does is it bakes the actual animation, and then it adds the dragger to it. So let's see. So you see now there's a little bit of bob. Now, I had translate on, and so I don't want that on the head because it looks weird. If I was gonna do that, I want to turn on the IK so that the neck would stretch to it. But we're not going to do that for now. We're just going to fix this real quick. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to kill this animation. I'm going to say I don't want translate. Let's not rotate. And let's take the damp down a bit and just see how we look too. So this is an iterative process. You're going to find some settings that you like. I keep just a cheat sheet on a character so I can have consistency between shots. We use this a lot on the slice of memory game that we're still trying to get out. There's a bug that is blocking it. It plays fine in Unreal, and then when we do a build, it bugs out. So we're trying to figure out why. So there we go. So you see now we have some secondary on the head, which is nice. You can see the difference if you just toggle off the layer. So we just get some nice little secondary. So we use the post filter mainly for single or very short chains. If you're going to do longer than that, you're going to probably want to use the sim chain. So let's see. Let's go ahead and jump to that. This isn't very long, so we'll go ahead and jump there. But I have done this on ears. I did it on the bear's ears because they were kind of single joints. This is a longer joint, so if we change the ears are in FK or IK right now. If you change them over to FK, you're going to have the actual handles that you probably want to use for the sim chain setup. So I'll probably do that for the next one, and then I'll do the tail. So let's do the tail first. So I'm going to go ahead and go to, where did I put sim chain? There it is. Excuse me. Okay, so one thing to note with, let's say this is a version. One thing to note is that Maya's dynamics are kind of buggy, and so you'll want to make sure you save before and after you do stuff. We use Maya's native dynamics, but again, they wig out sometimes. But we're going to do the tail first. So I'm going to select these FK controls on the tail, and I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to call this tail. All right, I'm going to see, I need to add selected. So I'm adding these joints. I have the hips selected. I don't want the hips. I just want that. Oops. Let's just remove selected. Tail, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, good. All right. So next we're going to do is we're going to make this chain dynamic. And then so we have some options. So what's happened is we've created our nucleus and our chain set up with our hair system, which is going to give you all of your options for setting up how you want your field to be. Now I have some presets that aren't in the system yet that I'm going to put up for y'all because it'll make it easier. But you can also save presets. Once you find some settings you like, you can save the preset. So I'm going to load my base because I have this. And I have some in here. So I'm going to start feather, see how that looks. So right now, if I just push play, nothing's going to happen. So I'm going to connect all my targets. So what that means is it's going to connect the controls to the actual sim chain. And now, if I play, we're going to see something different. So yeah, you see we got some drag happening. So with dynamics, you can't scrub back and forth. You just have to play. Yeah, we won't play every frame. I don't know why it's not doing that. You won't play every frame on, and then you're going to see your setup. So see, we got our tail kind of dragging. We can also, if there's base motion on the joints, you can bake the targets, which will bake the chain, and then you can do the sim on top of that. But for now, I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to do a different setting. So let's see what else I got here. I got limb, so we'll try limb. That's kind of loose, loosey-goosey. So what we want to try, let me get my tail preset. And again, I'm going to push these up for y'all. I have that in my 2019. 1 second. Let me pause. Okay, so you are going to have these presets. I've saved these locally. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this code chunk. And so how this works is I'm just instancing this node, which is our system. And then I can load these profiles. So I'd always load base, and then I would save that as my base. So you'll have that. And then I have some others here. So I'm going to load tail. And then I would just go save this to tail. And it's going to save that profile from the shape. So let's go ahead and play that. So now our tail is kind of dangling. If you want to affect the shape of the curve or the chain, you can go to the dynamic properties, to the attraction scale. So see, this is how it's attracted to its initial base. We can make it more attracted to the curve, and it'll be more attracted to it, and we can raise this up. And so you see now it's going back to kind of that base shape is. It's close to it. And then we can control how much is being affected by this curve. And so there's a bunch of settings in here, and that's what these presets are doing, is they're playing with these. And so it's something that you would want to play with. I'm going to do it on the ear as well, so we'll see how that works. But it is definitely something you're going to have to iterate on. Actually, let me just show the bake first. So let me get something a little better. You know what, let me, it might be better if it's moved through space. It might be part of the calculation issue, so let me turn off the, I turned off his move through space setup because I couldn't track it. And let me set up a camera real quick to track that. One second. All right, now I have a camera I constrained it to the cog, and so I'm tracking with the character now. So I can see better what he's doing. Oops. attach my lighting to that camera. There we go. All right. So let's check out his tail. So yeah, we're going to get more of our drag that way. So let's go ahead and try the limb again. It's too loose, too stretchy. And go back to feather. And then tail. So I'd probably just tweak those settings and wait for it to see what happens. But I'm going to pretend like this is what I want so I can show you the, I lost them. There you go. Depending on when you are updating your camera, it can get messed up in the sync. All right. So let's do the ears. I'm going to do one ear with the dynamic FK. I'm going to do the other one, or with the sim chain. I'm going to do the other one with the dragger, so you can see what the difference is. And actually, let me do a leg and see what that looks like. So if I wanted to do the leg and just kind of see what that gave us. Is that the toe? Nope. That's the foot. There we go. So let's go ahead here. I'm going to... Actually, let me bake these. So if I'm going to bake this to the tail, I do bake all joints. And actually, that was not correct. What I'm doing now is it's baking the base motion. I should do it on the big targets. I don't use this every day. This is actually a Bose tool. So, I make mistakes too. I'm going to pause this while it's going. Alright, I baked it. I'm going to disconnect the targets. If this ever gets wonky, you can reload it. So, let's see. One sec. Okay. So, I had to reload the core because a process reloaded the module that was causing a bug. Anyway, I have baked the animation to the tail, so it's on this layer. So what you can do for your cycles is you just select the objects of those so you have them all. And you just want to match your poses. And then you just blend to it. So that you get a nice cycle. And then you'll have to polish it a little bit. But that's the general idea there. I do want to see, well, I'll do that later when I have time. I'm going to delete this chain, so I'm just going to delete this whole chain because I want to do the ear. So I'm going to do one ear with the sim chain. I'm going to do the other with the dragger. Cool. It is an FK, which is good. Is it an FK the whole time? Awesome. Alright, so I'm going to select these, and I'm going to, oh, that'd be good to show you that. I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to call this left ear. Come on, Maya. Okay. I'm not sure why Maya is being funky. Okay, Maya doesn't want me to rename it, so I'm not going to rename it. I'll do that in a minute. Okay, so we have these. Make sure I have these loaded. I do. Okay, so the left side of our joints on the mist stuff is Z negative, so we need to flip that for our chain. So I'm going to go down here to options. So for this chain, direction is going to be Z negative and Y up is fine. And so I'm going to add selected, and then I'll make the chain dynamic. And then I'm going to connect. And I already had the base loaded, so I'm gonna see what happens with this for current presets and see what we get. So all kinds of craziness happening there. So finally, so what was happening is there was a key on the IKFK that I wasn't seeing, and so it was getting goofed up by going between FK and IK. So this is the current one. So that's not what we want, but it actually works now. So let's go to tree. I have a tree preset. Let's try that. Ooh. It's kind of stiff. And let's try feather. That's way too dangly. I don't think I have a good preset for this. Tentacle maybe? Nope. So we're going to, if what you have here is not being stiff, you'd want to adjust the on here. Oh, there's no traction on this. Let me load another one. Limb. So there's limb profile. So let's up the attraction scale. Why are you going so crazy? 1 sec. Alright, this is probably not the best idea to try to do this for the first time on an ear. So what I've done is I've been playing with the stiffness. And here's my attraction scale. And then it's kind of fun to mess with this because you can do it in real time. So you can do drag. So you can play with settings and see what you like. I might actually like dragger better on this kind of thing. You know, we don't have any wind. Let's add some wind. So I'm going to go to the nucleus. And the nucleus, I'm going to add some wind. So let's add some wind direction in Z. -1. And then let's up the wind a bit. Doesn't feel like it's doing a whole lot. You know, dynamics is not really my specialty. I would play with this some more, see what I could get, but truth be told, I'd probably just go back to dragger for the year. I need to find some presets for that when I have some time. Hey, if anyone is actually interested in dynamics and wants to play with some settings, I'll be happy to load them as profiles into the setups. I like the tail. I've used this on ponytails a lot, and I've used it on feathers, and it works well. Like it would work well, probably on some of the wing stuff, but I'm not really liking it on the ear that much. It's just kind of I guess it's not terrible. Anyway, so if I wanted to bake that, I would go bake targets. And then disconnect. Let's go disconnect our stuff. And then I'm going to delete these. I don't need them anymore. So, and what we could do, because you're going to have some funk on those first poses. We'll copy that one to there. Delete that. And then I want this to be my end pose so it syncs up for my cycle. Get rid of some of these extra bits. So I'd want to polish that. I'd probably get rid of that back pose and just have it be one of these other poses here. And actually, when you're doing a cycle, it's good to overshoot it. So you do before and after, so you'll get a better blend for this kind of stuff. But let's do the other ear with dragger real quick and see how we get with that. Let me make sure I don't have another key on this to muck things up. Yeah, see, it's going to 5. Why is it going to 5 down here? Ah, maybe I know. Maybe he had cumulative tangents on the curve there. All right, so let's do dragger. The nice thing about SimChain as well is you can do collisions. When I'm going to do, either I or someone's going to try to do walk cycle on the dragon. So it'd be good on that to get it so you can drag the tail behind as you're walking for free. I'll try to do a demo of that when I get some animation to work with. So let's go to dragger, TDs. All right, so we're going to go here, and we're going to go new layer. Let's see if it will let me change the name now. Yeah, well, weird. So we need to get our sizes. So let's see how big this one is. Query H. So it's about 6 to 10s. So we'll just do 10. 10 is fine. And our direction is Z positive, which is yes, yes, yes. All right. So we'll do a bake with dragger and see how that looks. All right. Another thing with that dragger is it's or post filter is it's slower because it's baking per joint. So order matters. So you need to make sure you select bottom, then top, then or middle, then top. The order does matter. That's the order it bakes in. So what we got, it's not bad from this one. So what I would probably do is, well, I would try a couple different things. If I wanted my base kind of animation to be kind of like that, I would just get my base target to be, I do my initial posing kind of how I wanted it. And not just rely on it to do all of it. But for now, I'm going to just kind of tone that back and see what we get. And I might do a different setting per joint. So let's try, do one. Let's see. Another thing is make sure translate is off for this kind of setup. Unless you're going to do IK, you really don't want that on. And dragger can't get really far behind if it's moving through space. But what I wanted to do was to maybe take the damp up a bit, and we're going to take this to 12, and I'll see what I get. And then I'm going to do a pass on spring, and I want to show you that one, and then we'll go from there. All right. So this is a that's 12 drag. So looking at this, if I like that, what I would probably do is I would rotate my base a little bit, and then I would probably just do these joints and get rid of this one's keys and see what I got. I'd start my base pose if I was kind of liking that, and then get ones after this. Keys getting wiped. The thing is, these tools aren't magical, so we have to actually tweak them how we want them to be. So I'm going to do bake like this and see how that looks. Okay, I did a little more iteration. So what I ended up doing was I changed my settings. So I have a nice little drag on the ear now. I could tone it way back if I wanted to. But it's a nice little dangle. I use 20 for the damp. We're going to do a spring pass as well. So I'm going to just I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to make a new layer. I wonder if layers remember the order that they're added in. So I'm going to make a layer and call this my spring layer. I don't know why some of these it doesn't want me to change the names. It's really weird. Is it because it's the active layer? I don't know why. Okay. But this is going to be my spring layer. So I'm going to change this to spring. I want to translate off. That's fine. This is all fine. I use 10. We're just going to try the default and see what we get. So spring is a different solver. Dragger is an aim, and then it drags the locator's kind of motion, and it aims back at it. Spring is actually using the spring solver, so you can get different feels. I use various ones for the last project. I have a dummy list for myself to remember what I was using what for. Because this, like I said, this is really iterative, so you try something, you're like, that works, that doesn't work. And then like on the pizza guy, he had a kind of a dangly bit that I only wanted to do one axis, so I just solved it, and then I just killed the animation on the other axis that I didn't want to actually to animate. So let me bake this. Then we'll see what we got. Transits off. Okay, so this is what spring is doing, which is actually pretty interesting. So again, when you're doing cycles, so Rolly, it'd be better if you had a section of animation that was cycling, and then you would do have a loop at the beginning and a loop at the end, and then you process the whole 3-loop cycle, and that way the middle solve for the filter will loop perfectly if you have it set up that way. It's just something we've learned from doing it. So anyway, this is a way to add stuff to your animations. You could do it on the wing as well. So if you wanted to do a pass on these, so to get some drag on those, you can do the same thing. You can just play with the settings and see what you get. But there we go. That's the intro to using dynamics with the misrigs. I'm going to put up this cheat sheet for y'all and see what y'all do. It'll be exciting. Hope everyone has a good weekend. Talk soon.